are here with Mike Rumbolz, who is the CEO of Everi. And Mike, I think it's safe to say that Everi is not your father's cash access company anymore. It's not even the cash access company with slots. You have built a very diversified fintech and games company. Just give us a little overview of who Everi is today and maybe who you think it'll be tomorrow.
Well, thanks for that intro, because I agree with you. I don't think we're the kind of cash access company that the gaming industry is accustomed to dealing with. We provide today, far beyond just fintech, we provide software that allows casinos to meet regulatory requirements. So we have RegTech. We provide both kiosks and software to enhance their loyalty programs and allow those to become self-service. We provide a digital neighborhood that can connect all of these various products on their floor and have them speak to one another. One of those, Jackpot Express, allows a casino operator to actually pay a jackpot at the slot machine while the player is still sitting there, and if they have the wallet, actually pay it into the wallet while they're sitting there, and then later allow the player through an email to get all of the paperwork that they would otherwise have to run back and forth and hand to them. So if anything, we become more of a provider of efficiencies for casino operations on the casino floor. At the same time, we still have the core cash access services we always have, but we've now enhanced them not just with RegTech and loyalty, we also have enhanced them with the digital wallet, which is, of course, the most interesting new product that we're introducing on the fintech side of the business. But on our slot side, rather than just being a provider of 3 or 4 different versions of a Class 2 game into the Class 2 markets, we've expanded significantly. We have probably 10 to 15 different cabinet styles that you can use. Those are both premium as well as standard. At this show, we're introducing probably our most popular cabinet, Player Classic, with a new model, which is Player Classic Signature, which incorporates everything that we have been known for in the high denomination spinning reel market that the players really like, but it's really taking it to that next step. It's expanding on and extending on the brand that we already have in place. And we're doing that with our themes as well. We have not just our Wicked Wheel Hot Stuff, but we've included Fire and Ice, which gives us a frozen version of Hot Stuff. But it's basically a brand extension that allows us to put even more games out there going forward. So today we're in premium markets, we're in standard sales markets. We're also in wide area progressives, both in Class 2 and Class 3, and we've broken into the digital markets to the point where we have 50 games now in 7 different states on digital sites. And we're actually producing custom games on digital sites for our customers. So Borgata has a custom game on their site. Golden Nugget has a custom game on their site. So it is not the old company that right. Everyone remembers as Global Cash or Multimedia Games.
And you have had corresponding success financially, mm-hmm. and your stock has demonstrated that. Your stock has tripled in the past year. Given that success and what you see for the future, what is your investment thesis today?
Mm-hmm. Well, it all centers on capital allocation and prudent capital allocation in the company. We're now producing this last 12 months we've produced over almost 120 million of free cash flow out of the operations, which is a record for this company in any 12-month period. And we've been using that prudently in the past to make small tuck-in acquisitions and bolt-on acquisitions of products and companies and talent. We're also looking outside at other geographies that may make sense. And we think that cash flow is actually going to increase in terms of velocity going forward. And so all of that free cash allows us to look at a panoply of opportunities. But the one thing that I think our investors know is that we've always invested prudently, and we've invested for increased EBITDA and increased profits in the company. And I hope they know that if all else fails, if we can't find the right acquisitions, if we can't build organically the right products, then we're going to look at stock buybacks, and we'll be purchasing that back. We'll give it back to the shareholders. Because if there's no better investment, we know an investment in us is a good investment.
That is, was my next question, is what do you do with that cash beyond the reinvestment? And as a shareholder, I'm looking forward to that. There's also challenges, and one of the big challenges that everybody has faced over the past year and a half has been COVID. And there are two impacts that I can immediately see from COVID. One was last year when the casino companies dramatically reduced their spending in order to survive in what was then an uncertain future. Are they loosening their budgets?
We're seeing some of that. I mean, well, first, you're absolutely right. In March of 2020, we saw the casino industry in North America close. And our revenue stream went to virtually zero. There were one or two very small casinos that remained open for a period of time until other casinos opened up. So that was a very difficult period, and all of the supply side and casino operation side of gaming, I think, were in the same boat. We all had to look to how do you best preserve capital, how do you make sure you take care of your employees, how do you make sure that there's a company for the employees to work for on a long-term basis. And we were no stranger to the difficulties that came as a result of that. Coming out of it, I think we have been very lucky in that we were increasing month after month, and we were really starting to roll on a growth curve. And while it shut down in March of 2020, it picked right back up in the second quarter of this year, and we're now seeing some of the strongest growth that we've ever seen. We will set records this year. And part of the reason for that is we've seen expansion. We've seen a lot of expansion, especially through the second quarter. But we're also seeing the replacement market start to come back. And so over the next 12 months, not necessarily by December, but I think over the next 12 months, October to October, we expect to see the budgets loosen a bit, more purchases on replacement, and a little bit more expansion.
One of the other impacts of COVID in every industry, it seems, has been supply chain disruption. How has Everi been affected, and how are you working through it?
Well, we've been very lucky so far, or good. I like to think we're good, but there's got to be a bit of luck in that we have not had to slow down any of our delivery times. And when we quote 6 or 8 weeks or even 10 weeks, we make those times. Now with what's going on in Long Beach and with some key components that are being held up for all suppliers by the ships having to wait off, we're still finding ways around that so that we can get at least within a week of the times that we've quoted, but it's requiring a lot more air freighting. And air freighting is significantly more expensive. So we're trying to weigh those two and bring the best value to the customer. But at the end of the day, we continue to see the disruption, but it has not significantly impacted us at this point.
Good. Yeah, we had spoken in an earlier interview with John Akers, who is you guys are working with on your cashless,
Absolutely.
Which is rolled out. And one of the things that we discussed with him that I'll raise here, because you have the perspective not only of being an executive in the industry, but a former regulator, and he raised this in relationship to cashless and the kinds of information now that can be gathered about people, is the challenges around protecting cybersecurity, protecting player privacy. How are you addressing those things, and how is the industry doing in addressing those things?
Well, probably the best news is we have always dealt with personal identifiable information, PII. And PII is the information that must be protected, that you have to put the highest standards of cybersecurity around, and much like HIPAA in a medical setting. And we've dealt with that the entire time that Global Cash Access has been available. So we not only have always protected that, but about 3 years ago, we embarked on a whole series of cyber campaigns to even further protect that through encryption, through hashing, through the data lines that we use for transmission. And I think others in the industry, in the cash access industry, have done the same thing. Because as you move into a cashless environment, there is more of that information that's moving through your network, but by the same token, it's not different kinds of information. It's very similar information to information we've always had to deal with. So it's just a matter of making sure that those pipelines are well protected, at least to the state of today's cyber protection arts.
One of the things we've also seen in this evolving technology, whether it's been hastened by COVID, whether it's the kind of technology that we simply see happening, like cashless and the things that you've just discussed, is we're starting to see almost a different business model in the gaming industry and really related industries, sports, media, where some people can call it the Netflix effect, where somebody who had one kind of business now is a producer and customers get information on or entertainment on demand now, or maybe it's on command. I guess demand is the word. How do you see, and you've mentioned your online involvement as well as the other aspects of your business. If you were to look at your company 2 or 3 years out, if you were to look at the gaming industry 2, 3, 5 years out, what would you say?
Well, I think, and we're a content provider in that respect, and I would anticipate in the 5-year, even maybe 10 years, that we'll continue to be a content provider both to land-based as well as to online medium. The question really becomes how much of the consumer consumption of that content is going to be at home, or when they're out in public, or if they're in the waiting room at a doctor's office versus in their local casino. If anything, I think as we came out of the pandemic, what we saw was a real desire to be social again and to be in a casino environment, to be live as we are. And that I don't think is going to go away anytime soon. The question really becomes one of sizing. Is there a point in time where online becomes of similar size to bricks and mortar? And I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Now, in the cash access environment, what we've had to do is adapt to both of those areas where our content from the game side is going. We have to be able to not just provide the old-fashioned kiosk and ATM that you expect to have in a bricks and mortar environment. You have to be able to use whatever you're using there, whether it's a wallet or whether it's a PIN number. You need to be able to use those when you're online with the sports book that's associated with that land-based casino, or with the iGaming casino that's associated with that bricks and mortar casino. And so our payments have had to adapt. So we've made the digital wallet, frankly, capable of working both in bricks and mortar, also in online, and then we've also connected it to our AML RegTech. We've connected it to our loyalty so that all of the things that you would find in a casino environment are still maintained when you go into a digital environment online.
We're at G2E, where everybody is looking to see the newest and best products. You mentioned a couple of your products. What are 2 or 3 of the must-sees at the Everi booth this year? Well,
given our strength in spinning reel gaming devices and our newest player, Classic Signature, and the improvements we've made both from an operator's viewpoint but also from the customer's ergonomics, I think that's one that people are going to have to see. But we've also brought a few other titles, either title extensions or new titles like Outlander or Cashnado into the booth, which have very interesting features and game functionality that I think players are going to be excited about. And so I think people should come to take a look at those. In addition, on the fintech side, seeing how all of our solutions create a digital neighborhood on a casino floor. I like to refer to it as a neural net. That neural network really allows us to plug in various product sets that allow the operator to be more efficient. But it also will operate without one of those. So it may not be as efficient for some operators. If you put everything together, it is the most efficient way to run a casino floor. And that's being displayed along with the digital wallet, which is really the linchpin for all of those other applications and products.
Okay, great. You know, these interviews that we do, these CEO one-on-ones, are very popular. But we also do these throughout the year in what we call CEO Insights video interviews, and Everi sponsors those. And I just want you to know that we appreciate you helping us make that possible.
Well, we think it's very valuable, and we appreciate the fact you're doing it, because there are all kinds of interests in various companies, but also what those companies are doing in the industry and what the industry is doing. So we're a happy sponsor.
Great. Mike, thank you. Always
Great to see you.
very informative.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.